Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness, down the river of tranquility, to fill the lake of life with love.
Good evening, our fellow lovers of love out there, and welcome on yet another adventure. Tonight we're delving into depression. Delving or diving. I tried to say both at the same time, and it came out neither. So before we get started, we'll take care of a couple things that I forgot completely last week. If you want to send us some Dear Lovey letters, you can send them at love@latenightLove.us. You can always go to latenightLove.us and find the references and links for the articles that we use. All right. So we're talking about depressions, and so I'm going to go. I didn't write this. The AI wrote this script for me, so we're going to see how well I can actually read it.
Okay.
I mean, I read it over, so it's all right. I'm just saying. Oh, something happened on one of our things. That's fine. Okay. Do you feel sad, hopeless, or empty most of the time? Do you have trouble sleeping, eating, or concentrating? Again, I'm reading it like I'm reading a commercial at my radio station. That's terrible. I'm sorry. Well, if you feel sad, hopeless, or maybe empty a lot of the time, or if you have trouble sleeping or eating or concentrating, or if you no longer have interest in things that you used to enjoy, these are potential signs of depression. One by themselves is kind of meaningless, but if you start to stack up a few things, and you kind of know, right? You kind of know if you're feeling depressed or not.
Yeah.
Now, whether it hits the level of depression, of clinical depression, where you need, drugs or something to intercede, that's an individual question. We can't really discuss it here. And I always say be careful, because I was treated for depression when really what I needed to be treated for was anxiety disorder. And so sometimes depression can mask something else.
Yeah, I was treated for 10 years for depression. I was bipolar.
Talking to you?
I was bipolar.
Huh. Your microphone isn't picking up sound.
Oh, no.
Because I was looking at this, and we're sitting here talking, and...
Yes.
Yeah. Let's try that. Talk again?
Okay.
Oh, that's a little
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wonder how much we've been missing. I'm almost tempted to restart it, because it should be picking up everything. Well, talk. That's
okay.
it. No, your side is not good for the moment. All right. So we're going to call an audible. Watch this. Hold on, y'all. And I'm going to edit this out for those who get to watch this later, so it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, now try.
Okay, now.
What the heck?
Okay, how about now? We're having sound issues, folks.
We're not only having sound issues, we're getting issues on the streaming side as well. I don't think they're related. Hold on, let's try this. Just for a second. You speak.
All right, now what?
Okay, now, yeah, see?
It's the microphone.
Yep, it's this microphone is having issues. Okay.
So I'll speak very close.
Oh, wait.
Is that too much?
No, it's still the microphone, because it just
Oh.
made a big loud sound for a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And what we're going to do is...
How about now? That's better. That's much better. What? intern needs to be fired. That's all. This is his last leg. I'm sorry.
This isn't really. Why is it not? It's just not doing anything. I ask it to do. Why is it doing that? Stop it. No, you're supposed to be able to drag it up. Come on.
Okay, now what? Okay. Well, it seems to be working.
Okay, now see that. See, that was just mine. Now try yours again.
Okay, I know. Okay, I'll just speak very closely to the microphone.
Oh, that's silly. I don't understand why this isn't. 3. Okay, let's see. What? It tested fine. Oh, wait. I wanted to do that again. Oh, my God. There we go. Okay.
Okay, now. How's that?
Okay. So now
we're good.
all right. So let's we're just gonna do this for a minute. Which is funny because this is the mic that wasn't working, but now it's working on this other thing. Anyway, I'm gonna have to figure out what the hell happened on that. But we are going to restart the show. I can do that because I can. Because we have no idea how well that was going. Talk.
Hello?
Okay, that's working fine. All right, so let's restart, just because.
Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness down the river of tranquility to fill the lake of life with love.
And welcome back to yet another start of tonight's Late Night Love. We're dealing with depression tonight.
Yes, we are.
And technical issues. But we soldier on. That's how you get through these things, right? We'll talk about that later. And so when you're talking about depression, basically it's if you feel sad, hopeless, or emotionally empty, if you have trouble sleeping, eating, overeating can be a sign of depression. If you lack the ability to concentrate, if you've lost interest in things that you enjoyed just not all that long ago, these are signs that you may be dealing with depression of some form. And so you might want to think about looking into it, examining what the causes are. Sometimes it's situational depression, right? Stuff isn't going well. It can be. Stress is at work, and it'll pass in 3 months. And sometimes it's something deeper, and it's difficult to understand, and so you need professional, need some professional help and guidance. And sometimes medication is the way, and sometimes it's not. And we also, from both of our personal experiences, you want to be careful about treating depression when it might be something else. Like I know I used to treat me for depression when it was really anxiety disorder that needed to be treated.
I was treated for depression for years when I was bipolar, actually.
Yeah, so that those differences make a huge no, it was fine. It was just I'm a little louder than you, so I was moving it closer to you.
Oh.
I'm gonna balance it all out at the end of the thing anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. And so if you want to get all the references and we talk about tonight, you can go to latenightLove.us, and if you want to send us a Dear Lovey letter, you can do that at love@latenightLove.us. All right. So where do we want to start tonight, Mila?
Well, we're going to start with common symptoms of depression.
All right.
Okay, and as you said, you had their sadness, hopelessness, loss of pleasure in activities. There can be irritability and a lot of tiredness. And as we already discussed, appetite changes. And something that isn't often talked about is thoughts of death or suicide.
Yeah, these are all things we all have to be very, very careful about, right? We don't want to let our thoughts go off track too far, right? So if you're thinking thoughts of suicide, that's a pretty good idea that you need professional help. And there's lots of people who are out to help you, and even people who can't help you. What you can do is just say, "I can help you get help." Right? Sometimes you just need someone there to help you walk through the process. You just need someone to kind of. It's not really hold you up because you have to do the work. Right? No one can do the walking but you. In the theory, right? No one can move forward but you.
Yes.
But they can be there to support you. They can be there to help you not fall back any farther. They can be there to help you realize you're not alone. No, they're not experiencing the same thing you are, but you're still not alone. There's people that care about you, and I think that's when you're dealing with those kind of thoughts. That's something to remember. Okay, so what else we have? 14 symptoms.
14 symptoms. Yeah, if you feel sad or empty. Now sometimes there is a reason that for sadness, a loss, that can be a reason for sadness. But we're talking about over a prolonged period, you feel empty, unable to feel happiness.
Yeah.
I knew I was in trouble when I was feeling less joy around my grandchildren. That upset me greatly.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference. Like you've lost your pet, you're going to feel sad for a little while. That's just kind of the nature of the thing. But it's a prolonged kind of deep sadness that maybe is not so easily to attach to a single thing. It's kind of pervasive across all of your life. Maybe a single thing may have triggered it, but and it seeps into every aspect of your life. Then it becomes the bigger issue, right? Because there's normal sadness. We're humans. You can't get away from that. The question is, does it pass that line of kind of routine sadness as human beings? That's what you want to pay attention for. Okay, feeling hopeless or helpless, right?
Yeah, hopeless, that you just don't see any end in sight.
Yeah.
It's every day is the same monotony of trying to drag yourself through your day every day.
Yeah, and you're trying, and you just feel like there's nothing you can do to kind of get out of it. And which can oddly enough often lead to number 3 is feeling worthless.
That their life has no meaning.
So then you've got what? Feeling excessively guilty.
Okay, now, we all feel regret or guilty about some things we may have said or did, but this is pervasive. There's guilt for no reason.
Mm-hmm. And the next one is interest in pleasure or in activities. And it's one thing if you're shifting from one activity to another to lose interest in one for a while, or to evolve past one into something else. But if you have kind of lost interest in pleasure or in any of your activities, right, that's what you're talking about. We're not talking about you used to like model trains, and now you're, I don't know, building 4-wheel drive vehicles, as an example or something, to talk to the men out there who usually don't talk about these things. So, these kinds of, that kind of evolution is one thing. We're talking about where you just don't care anymore about any of your things. Sometimes you move on, right? It's just is. All right. Next is anger and irritability.
My favorite was when I was so irritable, I irritate myself.
Yeah, that's the one that's when you've time to do something, right? Time to find some way to move forward or some direction. There's just time to move. Feeling tired and having a lack of energy is one.
I was sleeping like 12 hours a day.
Yeah, and this can be the other one, insomnia or inability to sleep is another one, which is kind of what happens to me. The old brain starts going and you can't sleep.
Difficulty concentrating, remembering, and making decisions. Making a decision is a huge deal.
Yeah, especially if you figure that you're feeling worthless and your lack of self-confidence. So it's going to be difficult to make a decision. What the heck do you know, right? It's kind of one of how those thoughts kind of start to snowball. A lack of appetite.
A lack of appetite, yeah. They go for long periods without food. You just have no interest.
Yeah, well, and some of us.
Or you could go the opposite. You could go overeating.
Yeah. So you kind of eat as comfort food. Aches, pains, and physical symptoms can manifest.
Headaches, digestive disorders, unexplained aches and pains.
Trouble switching off the brain.
Oh God, getting in thought loops.
Yeah,
oh God.
Now that's a common symptom among lots of disorders or issues. So
yes, it is.
So be careful with that one. But see a professional if these kind of things are impacting your day-to-day life. That's kind of the threshold. If you're dealing with thoughts of death or suicide, and these are kind of, for some really artistic people, this is a hard one to deal with, right? Because death is a part of life, and our artists try to, figure that out, work that out. And so it's hard to know if you're an artist or if you're an artist, if you're dealing with you're exploring just some interesting aspect of human experience, or if you're actually kind of gone to an actual genuine depression and you're just expressing it through that type of art. It's very difficult to know. So for the artists out there, be very careful with that one. Just saying, because it's a hard line to know.
Yeah.
And for everybody else, if you're not an artist, if you're thinking of death or suicide in a lot, seek some help, because something, even if it's just kind of random, if it repeats itself over and over again, if it comes in your head once every 10 years, don't worry about it. But if it's something that not even necessarily an intrusive thought, it's just a repetitive thought in any nature, once a month, once a year, talk to somebody. There's something undealt with. Think about dealing with it before it becomes worse, because those things rarely go away on their own. If they rarely go away, you just end up being better at dealing with them. Okay.
Now there are different types of depression.
All right, so we're going to talk about we're going to run through the 10 most common depressive disorders.
First, we have major depression.
Mm-hmm.
Also known as clinical depression, persistent feeling of sadness or lack of interest of outside stimuli.
Okay.
Dysthymia, persistent depressive disorder, is a long term that lasts for years and that interferes with daily life, work, and relationships. Manic depression, bipolar. It can be extreme fluctuation and changes in mood, and it's exhausting.
Okay.
cycling up and down within like 20 minutes, all day long.
No, and sadly, currently there's no cure, but you can be successfully managed.
Yes,
Right.
it can.
And so that's the important part. You're never going to cure it, but you can manage it, and you can become stronger in the face of it. Right? Is another way to think of that. Okay.
Postpartum depression. Apparently, this is very common.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, it goes away within a week or two, but if it persists, then maybe some outside help is needed.
Okay. Yeah.
Psychotic depression.
Hey, did you miss seasonal?
Oh, I miss seasonal.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, seasonal depression. Sometimes some people get depressed in winter, and some people get. I don't know if you miss seasonal or not, because mine's different than yours somehow. So.
I get depressed in the summer.
Some people get depressed in the summer. Most often, people get depressed in the winter. Like the winter depression, especially if you live up north.
I love winter.
Right. Then you've got the psychotic depression, right? Which is where you're at.
And so they have a combination of depression and psychosis.
Yeah, that's got to be exhausting.
Okay, yeah. Early psychosis refers to the period when a person first starts to appear as though they're losing contact with reality.
Okay.
It's very confusing. You have a feeling, you have a thought, and it seems so real.
Okay.
But everyone around you is saying, your view is distorted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels real to you, but the sad reality is it's not. You're the one who's misinterpreting the world, and it's not even your fault. It's something out of your control. Next, you got the premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Right? So we've got these things are all. See, our articles are different, so I don't know.
Premature dysphoric. Premenstrual dysphoric.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently this is a very real problem with some women. And then we have atypical depression, which apparently is one of the most prominent types of depression.
Okay, I'm giving up. I'm going off your screen because ours are different.
All right. Situational depression.
Which is probably, I suspect that's probably the most common one.
I know, right? Wouldn't it be? Life just hits you hard.
Yeah, sometimes, and you have to go through a year where you're depressed for a year. I suspect that's probably the most common. It's also probably the most common unreported one. Right?
Probably.
So that's why it's probably not as high, but I suspect that's just because we're human beings, for God's sake. How can you not be depressed at some point? It's just we go through so much. We're all, we're all going to end. You think about that too long, you can get depressed. You have to be comfortable with all that. All right, so what's left?
Disruptive mood dysregulation disorder.
That's a mouthful.
It's a recent diagnosis.
Okay.
First showing it. This is new, 2013.
Well, yeah, in medical things, that's new.
It's a depressive disorder. Children diagnosed with this struggle to regulate their moods and emotions in an age-appropriate way. As a result, they exhibit frequent temper outbursts.
Oh, sounds like our... Never mind. All right. I'll leave that one alone. That's for a different show. Yes, I don't want to make light of it, but it sounds familiar when you think about the modern world. Maybe that's the most common when you think think about the minor wolf and all these people who seem to live on their emotions. It's got to be exhausting. I don't know how they do it. They're young, I suppose.
Everything is a big deal.
Everything is the world's biggest deal. God, that must be exhausting. I don't understand how people can do it. All right, so what we got next?
Hey, I had 3 girls, man.
I had 4 boys. What do you want from me? All right, so if you're trying to beat depression, we've got 8 quick tips for you. Small daily efforts can be more effective than sweeping changes because they're easier to do.
Yes, they are.
So, you make some small changes, easier to do. And here's the thing, most of your life is built up with the small things in life. So if you get the small things right, you've got most of your life right. Think of it that way.
Yeah, the big deals don't come along very often. It's the small daily efforts.
Yep, the small daily grind. And if you can make the daily grind less of a grind, you can do some of the, you can help yourself along. These are tips, especially if you're dealing with depression. So what do we got? We've got 1, create rewarding goals. And so make them, the first thing about goal setting is make them achievable.
Yes.
Right? So, and make them positive. Make sure they're positive goals. And it's not as, if you do it, and remember where you're starting from, right? So if your goal is you want to eventually go out with friends 5 nights a week, well, it's going to take a long time for you to get there, right? Sometimes 1 night a week is going to be hard.
Yeah.
And, but you kind of get to do it, and then you understand your goal and understand how you achieve it. Okay, 5 nights a week is going out 5 nights a week is probably maybe 5 nights a month if you're not going out at all. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Create a reasonable goal, but understand where you're starting from, and don't overly judge yourself if it takes you longer than your mind thinks it should to get there. Progress is all that really matters. Number 2, we got find fulfilling activities. Working in the service of others is a great way to combat depression.
Yes.
So find something that helps other people, and you find out that you help yourself. That's a good thing to think about. Recognize unhelpful thoughts. And that cycle thinking. Trying to break the cycles before they start is a good something to get proactive. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yes.
So, it's one of those things.
Positive, unhelpful thoughts, I call it critical inner voice. And I combat that with positive talk. So you can add positive moments to your day. Try and find pleasure in things. I take a walk every day. I actually literally stop and smell the roses. And
Keep going, because my computer's crapped out. So.
oh no.
Well, no, my computer's all right. It's this webpage is kind of wonky. So, okay. Recognize some helpful thoughts. Add positive moments to your day. Eat healthy. It's always the good thing to do, right? Drink plenty of water. Stay hydrated. Being dehydrated can actually cause some really strange effects. So stay hydrated. It's actually a better. it's a better piece of advice than you realize. So stay hydrated. Create a morning pampering routine. If you're a morning person, if you're an evening person.
And personal care when you're depressed usually starts to decline. So these and this is to combat depression as well. Sometimes getting dressed and brushing hair and teeth is the huge success. That is a morning routine all by itself.
Yeah, that's one of those things. If you can get your morning routine right, you've got a huge chunk of your day right. So, and right, you get to define right. That's the important part. So,
what works for you?
What works for you? It's nobody else gets to define right for you. It's just define right. Another thing you want to do is you want to go outside, get some sunshine, get some fresh air. There's a reasons for that. The other side of that one is try to improve your sleep. And there's a laundry list of things, but find whatever ones work for you. Sometimes people are contrary needs. So you might look at the laundry list of things that people suggest you do to sleep and say, no, those work for me. And that's fine. Do what works for you. So that's my suggestion on that. Just find what works for you in improving your sleep and do more of that. You don't necessarily have to go through and try a bunch of stuff people suggest. If you know what works for you, do that. And if you don't, then you got to go off on your journey.
Searching for what works for you.
Searching for what works for you, and have some fun with the journey. Right? You might as well. You got to go through it. Try to have some fun with it. Create an Instagram thing of you trying on face masks or something. I don't know. Try to have some fun with it. Buy a new bed if you have to. I don't know. All right. Now, what do you say to someone who's dealing with depression? Your best friend or your sister or whatever is dealing with depression. So what do you do?
Well, they suggest first that you can say it's okay not to feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. We're not going to go through our 100% of our life feeling okay all the time.
No, life is nature is a cruel, inhumane place. All right, you're not alone.
In depression, you feel very alone.
Yeah, it's an artificial aloneness, but it's still feeling alone, and so it's very real. And so but you can move forward through it. The next one is you can move forward through the face of your depression. It's my thing is don't think of it as defeating depression. Think of it as integrating your propensity to deal with depression into the rest of your life. Make friends with it. Learn to pat him on the head, and he becomes less of a dragon. You give him the attention that they need, and they no longer, greatly impact your life. I'm here for you. Reinforce that you're there. Help is available. I would not actually encourage that one. Your story isn't over. If you're talking about a close friend and you're having a deep discussion, okay, that's good. If you're not a close friend, don't do that one. That's all I'm saying on that. Some of these things you kind of have to know when to use, who you are, what your relationship is. And my favorite, I know we've discussed it here before, is this is plain and simple. I don't have the words, but I'm here for you. What do we need? What can I do for you? Because the thing is, they have to make the journey through it. No one can help them through it, but you can't be there for them.
When I get in that dark space, it helps me to make a gratitude list. And but sometimes I can't think of anything really good to be grateful for, and that's where my honey comes in. And we sit, and he sits with me, and we brainstorm. on all the things that are positive in our life, and it really does help me.
Okay. Yeah. So just be there for
So
them.
just not being alone,
Yeah.
you know.
And because remember, if you're there to help somebody, you're there to help them. You're not there to guide them. Their journey is theirs, and the more you can honor that, you have an honored position and you have an honored place to roll. And in the long term, every ripple in the ocean of society, leaves a wake. So you help one person, and you have no clue how many people you're actually helping in the long, grand scheme of things. So that's all I'm saying.
Well, onto
About
the
that.
seventh generation and all
Yeah.
that.
All that, 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon, and all that kinds of things, right? You never know. You're improving one person's life can improve somebody else's life, which can improve somebody else's life, which can improve somebody else's life, and the cure of cancer is found, right? You just don't know how that works.
No.
Yeah, and it's better to be better than not, right?
Yeah.
So, because what else are you going to do? If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Or at the best, at the stagnant. And who wants that? All right, so what do we got next?
We have questions.
Oh, yay.
We're going to start with relationships.
There's a lot of questions today. Are these like quick answers?
Well, we had to, it's actually the same amount of questions, but we don't have parenting questions anymore.
Oh, okay. Any more?
Well, they're down for now. Hopefully they'll be up again soon. There's a controversy on Reddit.
We should cover the Reddit controversy one of these days. Oh, wait, wrong show. Okay. I do too many shows, man. It's like, anyway. You read these things.
Okay, so our first question we're going to start off with there. My boyfriend of 6 years have pics of my sister on his phone. How do I handle this? Okay, to be clear, they were not nudes.
Were they sexy time pics, or were they just
No,
pictures?
they were just pictures.
No, you don't handle it. There's nothing to do. You took pictures of your sister at some point. And, unless there's...
They were out hanging out, having fun, and taking pictures.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, you might want to ask, I suppose. You could ask them, hey, where are these from? And he'll be happy to tell you, I would suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think there's probably nothing there. There's nothing to handle. Likely innocent. Unless you've got other reasons to think so. Okay.
Okay. My friend treated a girl really badly. Should I tell him why I don't want to hang out anymore?
You can. It's probably a good idea. It likely won't do anything, but if you want to feel good about yourself and try to make the world a better place, yeah, go for it. But if not, maybe if he asks, tell him the truth. If not, just go on about your life. Would be actually my personal suggestion. But everybody handles these things their own way. My guess is you want to, so go ahead. Okay. Give them a phone call, send them a text, send them an email if you don't want to have this big confrontational thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. My husband won't allow other men into our home when he's gone. I don't understand. Oh, that is old school, man.
That's old school insecurity. It's just kind of one of those things. It's like Mike Pence won't be in the company of another woman without like a chaperone, right? And he was actually running for president again. So there are a handful of people who have these types of things. So that's either cultural, right, and something like that, religious, cultural type thing, or he's really insecure, and I suppose you get to decide if you want to deal with it or not. How much does it bother you? How often do you need men to go into the house, or people in general to go into your house? I don't know. Just you have to decide if it's a deal breaker or not. That's all.
Yeah.
just like all these kind of things. Okay.
My boyfriend confessed he has feelings for my best friend. Now what do I do? Well, I would cut him loose and let him go explore his feelings. Just your best friend's gonna tell him to take a hike.
Well, except unless he confessed for a reason. But that even if they did that, then your suggestion is still, these things happen, especially if you're younger. You weren't right for each other, but someone he meets else is. And you better have them deal with it beforehand than after.
Really, do you want to be 10 years in and you find out he's unstable? I mean,
Well, it's not even that he's unstable. Like isn't this how we want people to deal with these issues, right? If some issue comes up in the relationship.
Well, you ought to be honest, but your best friend, dude, that's verboten.
Well, yeah, but you can't necessarily control feelings sometimes, right?
Yeah, but you keep them to yourself and you focused on your loved one.
Yeah, but they're not your loved one yet. They're not a boy husband. They're a boyfriend and girlfriend. You might be, and they may be the exclusive, but exclusive at that stage doesn't mean necessarily forever. You haven't made that commitment yet. You're still out exploring. That's the whole point of being boyfriend, girlfriend, and exploring. These things happen. And when they do, you prefer them to be open and honest and move on like adults rather than carry it on. And I don't know. It's just what else do you want them to do?
Well, yeah.
In a sense, these things happen and you deal with it like an adult, and you kind of dealt with it like an adult. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it just comes with experience that, you're going to have crushes on other people. That doesn't mean you don't cherish your beloved.
My point is maybe they're not beloveds.
Oh.
That's my point. Boyfriend and girlfriend don't mean beloved. Maybe boyfriend and girlfriend had a convenience and habit. We don't know. So all I'm saying is, move on. Have a good time. Go find someone who is your beloved. Would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
All right.
My boyfriend wants me to stop wearing makeup and having my nails done. I like these things. Should I break up with him?
I'm curious as to why, but yes, that's probably a red flag that he's going to want to be controlling, and going deeper into the relationship is probably not worth your time.
He's asking you to stop doing things you'd like.
Yeah, the fact that you asked that question like that, should I break up with him, means you should. You're just looking for someone to say yes, and the answer is yes. There you go. So, me, how you ask the questions is as important to me as what the question actually is. And that one tells me that, you already know the answer. You're just looking for confirmation. So, yes, you should. Okay.
Okay. How do I tell my coworker to stop stomping?
What do you mean by stomping?
They're very heavy-footed. They stomp around.
They may not help it. They have a bad hip or something, and that's just how they walk. Unless they're literally like stomping like they're angry out of like aggression. It's just how someone walks. I'm just saying.
I know, there's not much you can do.
There's not much you can do. Unless it's like some passive aggressive thing. Then you can deal with it. But if it's just how he walks, because he happens to walk heavy-footed, he happens to walk heavy-footed. And it happens to annoy you.
Sorry?
Yeah. My guess is, you do things that annoy other people and just kind of accept it and find some way to deal with it. Again, unless it's some passive-aggressive goofy thing. That's a different issue to deal with HR or your boss or whatever.
Okay. Do managers hate workers who refuse overtime?
Depends on circumstances and culture. Some do, some don't. Depends on timing, all the various things. So there's not a blanket answer that covers that. Some managers do. Some managers have no problems with you not taking overtime. Some businesses prefer you not to do overtime. You know, it runs the gamut. So there's just no answer. Okay.
Okay. My salary was cut for no reason. Now what should I do?
My guess is there was a reason. The reason may very well be the company's running out of money, so find a new job. That's my suggestion. Because if your salary was literally cut for no reason, it means they're running out of money and they're saving money. And that means you've got to go find yourself a new job because you've got to do it now or later. So you might as well do it now.
Okay. I'm having nightmares about my job. Should I quit?
Well, depends. You know, having nightmares about your job doesn't necessarily mean it's time to quit your job. But the fact that you jumped to that means your job is probably not present. You should probably be looking for something that better suits you. Either environment-wise, culture-wise, right? There's something about your job that is rubbing your subconscious wrong. And yeah, you should probably change that. Change it. And it's easier to change jobs than to change your job, right? The culture of your job.
Yeah.
Unless you really like something about it. So yes, go look for doing. Okay.
Okay. Is it worth it to have a job you don't like but get paid a lot?
For a short period of time, it can be. If you actually use that lot of pay to set yourself up to no longer have that bad job you don't like, right? If you're going to get generational money or money that can set you up for can help you say buy rental properties or investment properties or something, so you can get passive income and go sit on a beach drinking pina colada, but you only got to work at a job you hate for 5 years, it might be worth it. You know, as long as that's your goal. If you're just slubbing off to a job you like because you hate because it pays a lot of money, you're gonna end up being depressed, like we talked about at the beginning of the thing. And no, it won't be worth it. So it depends on your goal. If you're actually using it to set yourself up for something in the future, it can be.
Yeah.
If it's just a job, then no, it's not. It will eat your soul. So my suggestion is to set yourself up, live cheap, and put a lot of that extra paid a lot, and put that into investment properties or something of that nature. I'm not a financial advisor. Talk to one, and set a goal of 5 years to be off on a beach somewhere or something. Maybe 10 years, whatever it is. Something you can handle. That might be my kind of thought process. Well, for you, if it was me, I'd say hell no, and I'd just go get a worst paying job that I liked. But that's me. And I'm not very smart when it comes to that kind of thing. So don't take my advice. Either way, just go talk to somebody else about financial decisions. Okay.
Is it good to have work friends or keep your distance?
Well, you're working with people. You have to be friendly with them. But understand that, it's the work friends are work friends. Very few of them will transfer past into the rest of your life, beyond your job. But it's okay. Friends come and go. People come in and out of your life. So it's fine. But maybe the people you work with aren't particularly worthy of having in the rest of your life. Maybe they are. But people come and go. So just enjoy them while you have them. That would be my suggestion. Don't worry about these things. Just have.
Yes.
Yeah. Enjoy the moment and don't worry about the future so much. Okay.
Okay, we got 6 questions.
On that particular subject, though, I just want to say don't worry about the future. Enjoy the human beings in your moment at the moment, and don't think about the future so much. That's how you'll have the most engaging relationship.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now.
Okay. My girlfriend and I have been going out for a year. The last time we had sex was on our 2nd date. What am I doing wrong?
You're not actually dating her. That's what you're doing wrong. You've been what they call friend zones, and she's taking advantage of you. It's time to move on. Unless you've had a general discussion, like she decided she wants to not engage in activity until marriage again. But my guess is that she's only interested in what you can provide her, and she'll avoid sex as long as she can. It's a sad thing, but move on. You know, we tell women to move on all the time because the man isn't being treating her right. She's not treating you properly. Not necessarily because she's not having sex. That's perfectly fine, but because she's not clear why she isn't. You should know, and the fact that you don't know means she's manipulative. And move on. Just move on. It's sad,
It's very sad.
but it is what it is. And she may just be socially awkward, immature, and doesn't know how to end a relationship. So it may not be very, as you might be having two socially awkward people here who have no clue that you're no longer in a relationship. And they should, right? It's a friendship now, not a relationship, which is fine as long as y'all understand that that's what it is. But neither of them seem to.
No.
No, or one, or they both know, or one knows, and they're taking advantage of it. Without details, it's hard to know. All right, but it's clearly time to move on to something that's more likely to evolve into a relationship you were looking for. Okay.
Okay. Why am I getting headaches when I orgasm? Check with a doctor, man. Blood flow.
Yeah, it's blood flow, or it's muscles contract, right? If you get any muscles contracted and you're prone to stress headaches or something, it can do that. It could also be a sign of potential migraines. So yes, check with your doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those things. If you're on the edge of migraines, that would suck. Okay.
I've been talking to an older woman. Does she want to hook up? Why are you asking Reddit? Why are you not asking her?
Yeah, just ask would be my question, because who knows? It depends where you're talking with her up to and how your discussions are going. And I know men can often be kind of blind about people flirting with them and whatnot, so I get it. But maybe have someone kind of hang out and watch you interact, or kind of trusted person and say, yeah, dude, she's hitting on you. You're a moron. Or not. She's just being friendly, dude. Leave her alone. Right? Someone else might be able to tell you that, but we can't. We don't have enough information. So she may, or she may not.
Maybe.
Or she may just be, someone who likes to chat. Friendly person, friendly conversationalist. All right.
My friends with benefits is bad at sex. Should I take the time to teach him or just move on?
Well, it depends what you want out of your friends with benefits.
When you take the time to teach him, you get someone that's, you kind of get to design them how you like. You get to teach them.
Yes, but you're also running the risk of actually becoming emotionally involved, both ways.
Yes, you are.
So, my suggestion is stop with friends with benefits and find an actual boyfriend. That'd be my suggestion. Personally, I'm not being judgy, but if you want what's best for you and your long-term, mental health and all that,
Yeah.
that's would be my suggestion. Okay.
All right. I said no to a threesome. Now I changed my mind. Too late?
Was this a man or a woman who wrote it?
Man.
No, just ask again. Just a reminder that she'll be interested again.
It was a threesome. A couple with a couple.
Oh, then yeah, she probably did miss it. But, now you know for next time. I suppose. You can call him again and see. But, no, you probably missed your opportunity. But, open mind. But, again, I'm going to go back to the previous suggestion. For your long-term mental health, you're probably better off just finding a person for you. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the best thing to do. You may be the outlier, but be pretty sure you're the outlier before you become the outlier. All right.
Okay. My boyfriend doesn't like it rough, but I do. How do I get him to play?
That's going to be a tough one. There's a meme on on the internet, right, where they've got this little boy and he's growing up. He's told you never hit women, you never hit women, you never hit women. Then he gets with a woman in his old age and said, "Please spank me," and you can't, right? And so there may be issues like that where it's something he really can't do because it's just not part of him.
He can't.
And what do you do? I don't know. Now, maybe he can be brought along. It depends on the individual person. Especially if they're younger, you can start slowly. And slowly, like we went back to the one. You can slowly teach them how to do things. Don't try to throw them onto the. Don't try and have them jump in all at once. Maybe would be my guess.
Yeah. Start slow.
Start slow.
A little hair pulling.
Or
Spanking.
this is gonna be a recurring theme tonight. This is the things you learn about yourselves as boyfriend and girlfriend before you become your beloved. And if sex is a big deal at your life, it may be something that may be a deal breaker. I would caution against that, but it may be. At some point in your life, sex becomes different. You no longer have the biological push that makes you do weird things for sex. And so, these things could be different. But, I don't know. I'm just saying, and figure it out how important it is to you, and you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And, because, he probably can't. My suggestion, he's never going to be able to do it rough, because it just rubs his sensibilities. It feels wrong to him. And if it feels wrong to a man, it's always going to feel wrong to him. And the chance of you training that out of him is slim. It just is. So, but it might not be. It may just be he's lacks confidence, and you may be able to give him some confidence and deal with that. So there's a couple of things that are potential. All right, and this has been a interesting show, right, for the jump. Also fast. We got through everything quickly. So,
Yes, we did.
considering we spent 7 minutes screwing with it, so we actually got through the whole show we technically got 10 minutes left. Not that we need to fill it, but we do want to remind you that you can get to we've got it, mentalhealthhotline.org, 1-866-903-3787. I think Dr. Got that right.
3787, yeah.
Yeah, I did get that right. Hey, I can see these. I can see. So, there's help out there. You can reach out to us and we can help you, connect you to some people who can actually help you. There's lots of resources. There's apps and everything out there. This is a strange way of saying this, there's no better time to be in the need of mental health. Because mental health is easier to access now than it's ever been. And there's no longer a stigma. It just doesn't exist. So, for me and Lovey, if you want, you can find us at latenightLove.us. You can send us Lovey letters at love@latenightLove.us. And from me and Lovey, please remember to love everybody and good night.
Good night.